this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. It is Monday, October 16th. I'd like to welcome you all to the Southwestern Vermont Career Development Center. Do we have any public comments? Francis?
Yeah, I just
I don't know how
have,
to tell you this, but you're not public, you know.
is there any public out there?
Oh, wait a minute.
Anyway.
My apologies.
No, up in Shasbury, we had on October 10th, we had a forum about Act 46. What concerns me is there was going to be no debate or anything. It's just their side telling you why you should vote for it, even though they didn't have any answers to any questions or anything else. This is the same type of thing. Back, Rick, when your father was alive and we did this thing about the consolidation and all that stuff, tried to get people to do it back then. And it's mainly, you know, the thing of it is, this is between the legislators and the state failing to do their job years ago, and it's got to be at least 20 years ago. And now we're right back to where it is right now. We've got an $80 million deficit. I can't imagine why that's there, but I think I know. So they have continued not to fund teacher retirements. If you look at your budgets, and the reason why you have such a deficit is money and benefits for teachers. We've lost students over the years. I don't know how many it is now. I know we're maybe losing another 1,000 students. That's all real money, but we still have the same teaching staff. So my point being is, they want you to vote for this thing. Nothing's going to change. And I'm hoping people, if they're smart, they'll vote no on this, because they say, well, if you don't vote for it, the state will come down and do it. Let the state do it. Let the state be responsible. Let them be accountable. Don't sit here and be, brainwashed saying, well, the state, I want the state to do it. Because they'll probably leave us the way it is, because we're meeting at least 85% of the consolidation things anyway. So for people for not really having debates, and I've been to a lot of those meetings myself over the last 2 or 3 years, I'm hoping people look at this, because this isn't going to solve anything, what they're trying to do. And again, I want the accountability to the state. I want them to come down. I want to see their face. I want their names. The legislators, I want them to fix this like they should have done years ago, and not put the board members or the community in on this, because they shouldn't have to do this. It's the state and the legislators. Thank you. And vote no.
I think it would only be fair if I gave time to anybody else who had another comment, maybe the other side of this.
Act 46.
Well, I haven't dealt with Act 46, and I've heard a lot of pros and cons, and I feel that if Franny had the opportunity to state his side,
Yep.
perhaps in the same venue here, we ought to give opportunity to the other side.
Can I just clarify
Please.
that the Career Development Center isn't part of?
That's right. No, I knew that.
So I just wanted to.
But they seem to be taking all the chances in the papers and everything, and the banner and everything covering one side. So I'm giving the other side, because they've had plenty of exposure to where the rest of the people haven't. And I think that, it's tough to live in a community where there's nothing here for our students. We export our kids out of the state of Vermont. And I should quote some board members saying, we need to educate our kids to get out of here. And that's exactly what's happened over the years. But anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak for a moment?
Yes, please.
I was on the Act 46 committee as a representative of MAU before the law changed and they allowed North Bennington to escape Act 46. And every time somebody asked the question, what is it going to do to our taxes in Bennington, we couldn't get an answer. Nobody could explain whether they were going to go up or down or stay the same.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much on the same page as Francis. If if taxes are gonna go up, let the state come down here and do what they're gonna do, and then we can directly blame the people that go to Montpelier for causing the tax increase.
Thank you, Ed. Anybody else want to comment? Thank you. We'll move on. Consent agenda. We have the minutes for the RGB full
Move
meeting. Moved by Francis. Second by Ed. Comments? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Payroll warrants, number.
Carousel, you need
Yeah,
to.
you have it split, you have it
It's
listed
down,
down, you have it
actually.
listed down.
Okay.
Different-
Okay.
Payroll warrants, number 1011, number 11, number 1013.
I'll move them.
Fran moved,
Second.
second by Ken. Comments?
The only comment
Leah?
that I had is what I was saying earlier. I didn't get a chance to go through these things because when I went through it, I looked at everything in the Dropbox yesterday afternoon and last night. None of these were there, and I hadn't been back home to look at anything since that time. And it says 23 minutes ago, or 23 minutes ago. I can't, I mean, we either got to cancel our meetings if we don't, if we're not ready. It's not a law that we gotta have a meeting if we're not ready to put up with all the stuff that we need to be able to do that, is what I wanna say along that line.
I'm not sure, it's my understanding that they were in, that the warrants were in, I know that there was an Apple update not that long ago that was some concern that there might be the ability to get it. The business documents, though, I did put in earlier today because I was out of town last week.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But not the warrants. The warrants were there last week, so I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
just for
Just
clarification.
that we have to be careful when it comes, when the information is supposed to be available. I mean,
Right.
we make the warning that we're gonna hold a meeting,
Right.
but then we say, everybody be prepared for the meeting, and we are using electronics means to do this, and so I use it. And I wanted to make sure you realize that if I don't get it if we're gonna have a meeting on Monday, and I don't get it Sunday night or whatever, I don't have a chance to come back and read all the stuff prior to the meeting. That's why I got these strikes on. I've been gone all day, and I just wanted to make everybody aware that so I'll be abstaining.
I came down and signed those warrants, and there wasn't anything unusual in them.
I agree with Leanne. I mean, we need more time to look at these. I'm gonna ask Matt to please look into this and get back to us for next meeting as to what might have happened. I know Stephanie way too well to know that it was something she forgot, so
Yeah, I'm not,
there's a
It's my
reason behind
understanding
it, so
that
let's
the
find out
warrants
what the
were-
reason is, and hopefully it won't happen again, because I agree with Leanne.
It probably is my fault.
Well, I don't
Sam,
think,
no way.
I don't think it's anybody's
Yeah.
fault,
I
but
don't
what happened
either.
is Apple updated last night. So you might have had a little
it
traffic.
does say modified 20 minutes ago, I don't know, so I don't know, unless they were rearranged and they were in a different folder, then I'm not, that piece of it, I'm not.
I just played with them all 23 minutes ago because I readjusted so everybody could read them.
Okay,
There's
so
no-
you reordered them maybe?
Yeah.
She turned them around.
But
There's no
Instead
fault.
of reading them like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work faster.
Right.
Yeah,
that way.
There's-
we'll figure
there's
it
no
out
fault
for the
there.
next,
No, we'll
for the
work
next.
faster.
Right, nobody's at fault, we just want to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Hopefully it
Okay.
won't happen again.
Got it.
But there was an Apple update.
Any other comments? Seeing none, please raise your hand. Right hand. Leanne, you want to
Oh, we
agree
got
or
an extension.
abstain?
I mean, abstain.
Oh, you're gonna abstain, okay.
Yeah, I can't, because I haven't read it.
Okay, that's fine. 5-4, one against? Or-
One extension.
One
Yeah,
abstention.
one extension.
6-4, one abstention.
Okay.
Okay, vendor warrants. 1012 and 1015.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Fran, second by John. Comments? Discussion? Same issue, Lynn?
Yeah, I'm just going back. I read them. Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
So,
All in favor, please raise your right hand. And one abstention.
yeah.
Okay, cash flow is included in your expenses. Committee reports, I'm not aware of any this month. Perhaps you'll put a note, Mike, that we might want to start having preliminary meetings for our finance.
Mike and I briefly discussed this afternoon
Okay.
about, I was suggesting that perhaps our first finance meeting be before the next meeting in November.
Okay.
And then we can, you know, and I'll outline, we probably will plan, I think last year worked pretty well, where we planned like the following Mondays
Right.
until we get the budget done. And so that would be, put the meeting, I don't know if you want to set a time for that finance committee meeting right before this meeting?
Usually with the meeting before, we have policy at 5 o'clock.
Do you have a policy schedule beyond for that?
I'm gonna be trying to get
Yeah.
one for next month. I gotta send
So
out.
it makes it real early in the day. I don't have a problem with it. I think Franny has been made the chairman of the finance, I believe. Did I point finger to?
I don't think so.
I think we had a finance education back in the summer, and I think you were in there, and I think we either that or you weren't there and I pointed you, one way or
Well,
another.
that could be.
It's easier that way, you get less,
So I'll get.
less flights that way. So I have no problem with having it an hour at like 4 o'clock. Fran, do you?
No.
That way there
Or
we-
if that's the case, then.
And then we can
I'll
stick
get
around
by.
and maybe go to the policy meeting with Lynn. Let's tentatively set it up.
Tentatively, okay, and if
If
we
something
find out
happens,
that-
we'll just
We can set
talk
it
about
before.
it.
Are there any rumors yet on what the state is gonna pay us next year?
I have not seen that yet, no, I mean, I know there's been
Kinda early, isn't it?
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with an $80 million deficit, I just thought maybe somebody had an
I'll
idea.
tell you that we get nothing.
You guys just won't let that go, will you?
No.
Okay, well, we don't have any more committee reports, so action items. We have approved minutes of the Carousel Joint Boards meeting. Is that something you wanted to talk about, Sandy,
No, just
or?
wanted to make sure you did it.
Okay,
It just,
We didn't have them.
it came
Right.
to my attention when I was reviewing for my audit that the actual minutes of, the approval of the minutes didn't come
Right.
through with the meeting, so.
That's right.
I wanted to make sure that it,
That's
we
right.
approved our
Okay.
meeting minutes.
so do we need to get a motion to accept those meetings?
Second.
John moved it, Fran seconded. Any comments or discussion? This is the meeting we had in the summer having to do with the joint meeting for the school, the teacher negotiations.
Approval.
Approval.
The teacher's contract.
Contract. Thank you. Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
I need a new Corvette. Use your right hand. Okay. Just kidding.
Yankee fan, so.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hopefully we see that
I'd rather have a
tonight.
board.
Yes, let's hope so.
All right, procedures for executing contracts.
We have a
Stephanie?
field trip.
We haven't got that yet, have we?
The field trip doesn't look like, but the field trip doesn't look like it's in the warning.
Field trip is on, but I didn't see anything about execution of
Yeah.
contracts anymore.
Procedures for executing contracts, it's, Stephanie will fill us in
It's
on
the,
that.
Leanne, it's the second action item on the agenda.
No, I don't see it in the box.
Oh, no, it's a conversation. I recently attended a federal grants management workshop that the state's been doing, I think probably the people at SBSU did as well. And one of the things that, in terms of the monitoring our federal grants is that we need to have, in the minutes somewhere, that the superintendent or his designee has the ability to execute contracts. So, for instance, like purchase orders
Right.
from the business office are contracts. And I can't find it in our minutes, you know, and I know that since I've been here, that I don't think we've had this in the minute. I need to have it in the minutes so that when they come, if they monitor us, I will have the backup.
Would it be proper now to make the motion that Mike Lauer is responsible for signing the purchase orders and contracts, and you're his designated?
I think that
Sign.
you're authorizing the superintendent or his designee to execute contracts.
So it's up to him
To designate that,
Okay.
because in some cases perhaps, I'm not sure, like a contract could be designated by Matt, you know,
Mhm. Okay.
I'm not sure.
so
Um,
as he sees fit at the time.
Right,
Okay.
basically,
I think we decided that when CDC first became independent.
I think it's quite, I mean, it's in, you know, the law, it's quite possible it's
Yeah.
been in the minutes, I just want to make sure that.
I'm going back to like 2003 or
Okay.
somewhere.
I did, guess I
in
didn't
That
know that.
area. And you weren't here, so.
Mhm.
Is it gonna hurt anybody to make the motion that we allow Mike to,
So moved. Second.
move by John and seconded by Lynn? Any other discussion?
I was just
Yes,
wondering,
Jackie.
in that approval process, is there a certain codicil on it that says how many contracts you have to, I mean, how many bids you have to put out before signing a contract?
Well, we're governed, by, you know, state law in terms of contracts, and then we're also, for federal purchasing, we are also governed by federal purchasing rules. And that's partly what we're putting in
Already.
place. Yeah. It depends, it depends on the size of the contract, it depends on the amount of the money, it depends on what the contract's for.
And so then the procedure would be, you would write the contract and tell us about it later?
Well, no, this is, I mean, for the purpose of this, it's my understanding that that purchase orders are perceived as contracts. Like, we're making a contract, the school district is saying, like, we will, yes, encumber those funds and pay that money. So if that's a contract, then the superintendent or his designee has to have the ability to enter into that contract under the federal, you know, under the law. So you do see those as you see the warrants, sometimes more timely than others, but that you know, that you see when you approve your warrants. There's no change in the process of what we're doing.
Right,
It's
so,
just-
so we're not talking about anything really new?
No, I just need it recorded in the minute that the superintendent or his designee has the ability to execute these contracts. Execute contracts.
Anything else, Jen?
That's it?
All in favor? Please raise your right hand. Unanimous? Okay, I think that's all. I think we're up to the superintendent's report.
Did I miss Heels the field trip?
No, it's not in this month.
Yes,
Yes,
It
it is.
is. That's what I'm
It's not on the
saying.
agenda.
It was on the action items, and it's,
Yeah.
one of the action items is going to Burlington, called 11-1.
It's-
And that was 6 days ago.
Yes.
Well, I thought they changed their mind.
Okay, well,
So what is the story here?
I'm gonna,
it's on here, it says overnight, and it's one of those trips that we needed to.
right, it's an overnight trip.
So I think, Leon, the issue is that it's not on the, it wasn't warned on the agenda.
Right.
But it is,
Oh, it was in the.
it's in the packet, but it's not on the agenda.
Right. So do we still handle it, or because it's not on the agenda, we can't? I guess it's 11-1. If we don't do it now, they might not have a chance of going.
I mean, historically, in the past, the board chair or one of the committee would okay a trip like that that's outside of the meeting, and then it would be approved after the fact. It's not on the agenda at this moment. But we have had trips come up that needed to be, approved in a timely manner in order for us to make purchases for it, and they have approved it and then approved it in the next meeting. I don't know.
So
It's
I-
one of those-
can we
it's
go
one of
ahead and
those,
approve it now and then just put it on the agenda for the next meeting and approve it again?
The whole document's in our package here anyways.
Right.
It's just that it's
Oh,
it wasn't warned on the.
well, let me ask you
this.
this, is it a contract?
No, but I think that the policies or that procedures that we bring these trips to your attention when they're for overnight.
I'd say let it go by, let Sandy email me the thing, I'll approve it, and then we'll bring it to the next board
Put it
meeting.
on and warn it.
Tell them that I stuck my neck out. Okay? Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
All right. Superintendent superintendent's report.
Okay, I'm gonna do my report first. This is gonna be short and sweet. But we are still working out logistics to have a full CDL program here in the adult ed portion of our center. After having a conference call with the Agency of Transportation, we've identified that we can offer a permit prep course. And we will have more information on that at the next board meeting.
Could you tell our viewers what a CDL is?
A commercial driver's license permit. But we're only allowed to do the permit portion at this time. So you'll hear more about that coming up. It's been something that we've been, discussing now for a year. And, after meeting with Department of Labor, it's something, it's a high need in the community.
So they wouldn't be teaching driving, they would be just doing the test?
Doing the prep to take the permit test, which is, the first step.
Why can't we do more than that? I don't understand. Because the Stafford Center up in Rutland
Right, but,
is giving
yep,
full training for a CDL license.
and they're approved by the state to do that. And so we have to become a driver school in order to do that. That's what Stafford has their own trucks and their own driving school. So that has been the difficulty. But the first step is the permit, and businesses in the area, they've said that a permit, that's a good step for us to offer a permit prep course.
Again, I'd love to see the full-blown license, but I think we need to start somewhere.
Yeah,
So I think this is
I
a good
agree.
start.
I wasn't challenging.
I don't want to become an issue for people who are in business, that do it for business. But I also think we ought to consider more driving schools for our students, learn how to drive. And I know, yes, we have it, but it seems like our classes are always full or inconvenient times. It would be a great add-on, and the biggest reason is and I can tell you firsthand from my business, my son's business, you can hire all sorts of people, but most of them can't drive. And if they can't drive, they're worthless in our business. I want to see the students come out of here all have driver's license. So that's my little 2 cents to add to that.
Okay, interviews for the next LNA cohort have started. We have a good number of applicants. There's about 16 applicants. And we will aim to start with 12. That's the end of my report. I'm sorry, no, back on LNA. I don't know if you saw the ad in the newspaper, but we're looking for a program administrator for the program. That person has to be an RN, and they do a lot of the administrative pieces to the program, which include setting up testing dates, making sure all of the paperwork is into the Board of Nursing, that exam fees are filed. So that's, hopefully we can begin to get applicants and start looking at them and interviewing. For Mike's report, I'm just going to do an overview of what has happened in the center the last month. So on September 20th, we had a visit by BBA freshmen. We thought we were going to have 12 visit, but we had 36 visit. So that was exciting. They toured the building. they were able to also, you know, submit paperwork around what their areas of interests are. So that was a new step for us. And hopefully those freshmen will also come back for the second 8th grade tour visit and have, you know, have some more information about the programs that we offer. I want to thank everyone that came. I want to thank parents, students, board members, and community folks who came out for open house that we had September 26th. Our fall open house is usually much more busy than springtime, but so thank you to everyone that came out. This past week we had Ken Facine, Ken Facine is the superintendent for Hoosick Falls Central School District, and Patrick Daly, who's the principal of the high school. They wanted to pop in for a visit. They wanted to see their kids in the programs and, you know, just kind of make a presence in our building. They were also interested in looking at the cafe and the kitchen because they have a high number of students that are interested in culinary for next year. So we're hoping that, and they're hoping that they can increase their numbers for next year. They also have found that they have a direct link between the manufacturing technologies program that we have here and some foundation courses that they're teaching at the high school, so it looks like a seamless transition for students that are interested in manufacturing tech. So we continue to build that relationship. Culinary lunches have started. They are on Fridays from 11 to 12:30, and the menu is posted on Facebook. Mike and I also had a pre-visit with some NEASC folks. As you know, they'll be here early November for our reaccreditation. We spent the day with Todd Fields, who's the director of Westbrook Regional Voc Center in Maine, and Ruth Simicelli. She's from the guidance department at Oliver Wolcott Tech High School in Connecticut. And they wanted to do a walkthrough of the building. They wanted to see the programs in action, and just to sort of get the lay of the land so that when they bring, you know, the 13 members here, you know, they're a bit familiar with our building as well as the community. I can tell you that they could not say enough about our center, about, you know, I mean, we really are lucky. We're lucky to have the center that we have and the professionals that teach, as well as, you know, all of the up-to-date equipment that our students are able to, you know, are able to access. So I think that the NEASC visit, I really do think is going to be, you know, an evaluation tool that we can use for self-improvement. And so that, Women Can Do, we had 18 students go to Women Can Do. That's the one-day workshop highlighting careers in the skilled trades or STEM. And I think that's it.
Is the machine shop up to date now? Remember they got 3 Haas machines last year. Did they get any other, or update any other machines?
We had two Haas, 2 of those
Yeah.
machines last year.
Right.
We purchased a welder, I'm pretty sure we purchased a welder, some sort of welder for that.
Good.
And I know I'm missing something else. Adam had a long list.
Yeah. I think the Bridgeport machines need to be
Computerized to get back.
Yeah.
computerized.
Yeah, I believe he purchased I think last year we purchased the screens to update them,
That's-
but is that,
Right.
but I'm not sure where in the process they are with actually doing it. I know that we had,
Yeah.
committed to do it.
Yep.
It's good to get some welding too, because I notice around town, there's a lot of Harvard Hill, they're always looking for welders too, so
Mhm.
it's good to prepare the kids and CDOs as well.
Yeah.
How many students are coming from Hoosick Falls?
We have 7. Yep.
And you got 2 classes in Arlington, so.
Yeah.
One more question is, does Burnberg still have that reverse schedule that prevented their students from coming down here?
That was that last year or the year before?
I'm
When they
going
were
back
doing-
several years where they
Oh,
would reverse their schedule so that it was incompatible with everything we were doing.
I don't think so. I don't think, I mean, you know, not every day matches up, but not that I'm aware of, Ed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Did they get any hard numbers for the attendance here as of October 15th?
I just had a draft come across my desk today, so I don't want to speak to them yet, but I think it's about in line with what Mike was anticipating. I know I was checking, we do have the 7 students at Hoosick Falls, but I think they'll probably be ready to send it out and give the information at the next board meeting.
Anything else? Chair report? None. We're down to other. And this is where I thought you were going to speak up, Francis.
Well,
It's
I
your
can-
fault.
I can
You're
keep
not-
going.
You're not. Oh. Any comments?
You got others, and I was just gonna say that there has been a committee that was formed to look at, the new principalship for the high school, and I didn't know whether anybody was from this area going. I'm on that, so what I'll be wanting to do is the same thing I'll be asking Mount Anthony's from a board perspective is to have you funnel to me any questions in terms of things that you would want me to make sure I bring up before the committee that would be a concern to this board as far as the new principal of the high school.
You need somebody from this board to sit on that committee with you?
Would you like somebody else?
No, I didn't say that. I said, I didn't see, that's Mount Anthony, and I'm just having to be a board member, selected as one of the board members to be on that screening committee. And I'm saying, I didn't see anybody from over here, so I'm extending my efforts, not only as the Mount Anthony board member representative on the screening committee, but I would be wanting to hear any concerns that you may have, this board may have, that I can have to be able to take back to the screening committee of a concern of ours.
And you just make sure that whoever you get is a good team person, that they have to work, equally with the CDC administration here as well. Not, I'm on top and you're on the bottom like that, but everybody works together for the betterment of the kids.
Yeah, all of those are the things that, but if he has something specific that Mike wants, he can send it, you can send them to me, I make sure that we're getting, we get informed to go with the committee, and so Ed is there, he listed the people, but I wanted to make sure that this board had some say-so, and there's community member people and so forth along that line, but it wasn't anybody from this board.
Perhaps Mike will
Besides
send out
myself.
an email or something asking all the board members if they have any thoughts, comments. Maybe you can compile it and give it to you.
Yeah, that's right, that's why I'm.
We're pretty well represented on the Mount Anthony board. Ed, you're on it, aren't you? Ken, no? Anybody else on this board? That's still a pretty good representation from here.
I actually think Mount Anthony should change the graduation requirements to require at least 1 or 2 courses over 4 years here.
It's another issue another day.
If only because it's cheaper to send kids here than it is to have them at Mount Anthony, because the state reimbursement is higher for here at the technical center than it is at Mount Anthony. But that's another issue for
That's
another day.
another day. We'll tackle something else. Anything else? Under other?
Just one more, that Jackie reminded me that we received a letter on behalf of the Bennington Police Department, Bennington County Sheriff's Department, and the Bennington Fire Department. It states, "I would like to sincerely thank you for the support of the New Experience Camp. This camp would not be possible without the outstanding community support we received. And they look forward to continued support in the future." So,
Is there anyone that doesn't know what those camps are in the summer that are run?
No, this was on the site. I mean, this one was there for all of us to review that.
oh, it was in there?
Yeah.
But this is a letter having to do with thanking us for that, and Rob
Oh,
says he's
yeah.
not familiar with it.
Yep.
Can you speak on that a little bit?
It's a camp that the Bennington Police Department, well, all of those agencies run during the summertime. And it's usually the ages are 13 to 16, I don't know the exact timeline. But they have a whole week. They do a bunch of different activities, one of which includes coming here for a day and experiencing some of our programs. They usually leave after, with their arms full after, after doing different projects in some of our programs. We work with them every day of the week to provide transportation, and then we have that one day with them that they're able to come here and experience some of the programs.
Great.
Yeah.
I only know the camps that show up to Monument School, so if I don't know the camps, so I don't always know about the other opportunities.
Yeah.
there.
So,
If nothing else, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Sure. So moved. Randy, second by Leanne. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.